Foam rollers are a popular self-massaging tool used in athletic as well as recreational fitness. They have been popular in athletic settings for around 20 years and are now gaining mainstream popularity due to a wide variety of attributed benefits, like increased range of motion, reduced post-workout muscle soreness, improved recovery from injuries, increased muscle activation, power output, and endurance, and even cosmetic benefits like waist circumference and cellulite reduction. Eliminating muscle tension, strengthening the core muscle strength and flexibility by manually manipulating muscles and ligaments has made them a fixture in modern yoga practice. The foam roller is said to not only extend muscles and tendons, but also break up soft tissue adhesions and scar tissue as well. They are also especially popular after speed training and long-distance running, as they are believed to reduce the hardness and tension from muscle contraction fatigue. They can be bought at a variety of retailers and come in a wide range of styles and price ranges. In this project review summary, the most widely supported findings of foam rolling studies will be compared with what the theorized benefits are to see which of those have been substantiated. Then the studies themselves will be analyzed to determine how reliably they test the theory. The conclusion will be based on whether or not studies found conclusive evidence and whether these effects can actually be attributed to foam rolling. Multiple meta-analysis studies about foam rolling have found that range of motion is positively impacted by foam rolling immediately after application, according to Hendricks in 2020. They seem to positively affect short-term ROM and reduce some of the common post-exercise symptoms such as delayed onset muscle stiffness, according to Hendricks and Skinner, both 2020. Effects cannot be directly linked to other performance measures like muscle activation, peak torque, maximal oxygen uptake, speed, or acceleration. Studies focused on performance-based outcomes for measure had stronger signals when the subjects were professional athletes or those who had previous training, as they likely were more adept at using the foam rollers. Skinner suggests that performance impact may be helpful on an individual performance basis. However, there's not strong enough evidence to make broader generalizations. The theory that foam rolling is a form of manual myofascial manipulation has theorized that pressure applied to soft tissues increases and changes fascial and muscle tissue. Trigger points of a localized muscle fiber contraction block off capillaries and prevent myosin from releasing, according to Metz in 2010. Manual myofascial release has been proven to change the length, strength, and ability to shear, which has been able to prevent or help with symptoms associated with these trigger points. In 2008, Warren reported 3 case studies where instrument-assisted mechanical manipulations resulted in pain elimination in tendinosis and fasciitis. However, the exact mechanism is not completely understood. The findings in the systematic reviews could also be explained by autogenetic inhibition, where the foam roller applies pressure and mechanoreceptors called Golgi tendon organs send signals to the central nervous system that subsequently trigger muscle realizations to prevent tearing. Another similar theory is that foam rolling overloads skin receptors, reducing pain sensation and increasing tolerance to stretching, according to Wiebelhoff in 2019. The review articles all cite that relatively small sample sizes in the original studies lack the statistical power needed to make substantial conclusions, which is why we decided to use systematic reviews. Another major limitation cited in the review articles was the quality of the studies when rated with a standardized system like Pedro. The studies averaged in the mid-range of the Pedro scale, around 5.5 to 9. The most points were lost around the inability to blind treatment/control groups, which increased the likelihood of placebo bias. The study populations were relatively heterogeneous internally, and the studies were trained athletes where all the subjects typically reported better improvements than recreational active populations. The majority of the subject pool for these studies are recreational students or athletes. This is both due to the applicability of the research to these groups and their availability. However, the reviews had a minimum age threshold for the studies to be considered, above 15 years old. More research needs to be done on the effects of aging and youth populations. due to differences in body composition. These studies are relatively noisy because what they are testing for is not yet understood very well. However, there does seem to be a detectable signal. Research on the efficacy of foam rolling when compared with other methods is severely lacking, so it cannot be determined if foam rolling is more or less effective than any other given treatment. One such study conducted by A.G. Aun in 2018 seems to support that these benefits are short-term, whereas eccentric stretching had more sustained effects. The individual systematic reviews all had similar general consensuses about the actual proven benefits, and they were done recently. Aun's findings align with the autogenic inhibition theory, and this raises questions about whether or not foam rolling could have a detrimental effect on soft tissues. Static stretching for more than 60 seconds per muscle can result in performance impairment, according to Reed et al. In 2018. Despite this, and the fact that foam rolling applies high mechanical force on soft tissue structures, there is no reference to any reported negative effects, though most studies recommended 30 to 90 seconds of foam rolling per muscle. There are some anecdotal accounts of bruising and soreness resulting from excessive foam rolling, according to Friedwald in 2016. No foam roller seems to be particularly better suited than any other, although there is one review that suggests rollers with rigid metal or plastic cores with foam on the outside may be slightly more effective at applying pressure evenly across the muscle, according to Pagadwan in 2022. In conclusion, foam rollers do have some positive effects, and they have not been found to be harmful.